Now, for more on this and the consequences to, well, the rest of the world and specific to the company that's involved, Scott Schober, he's the president and CEO of Berkeley Varitronics Systems. Good to see you again. Welcome back. These allegations, if they are true, well, let me start with this. Do you think they're true, and is it common, you think?
Yeah, good point. Very common. This is between many countries, spying back and forth. And yeah, I'd say it's probably true. This is a very common practice, and it's something to be expected. We just don't often hear about it that often.
Why do you think this came up at this? Why the timing of this discussion right now? And this has become a pretty big deal in the media.
Yeah, this is a big deal with the media breaking this. And if we look back just the past couple years with the Edward Snowden leaks, this has become huge. When, as your prior guest mentioned there, even with Merkel, the chancellor's potential for having the mobile phone being tapped by the NSA, it's very concerning. And many of these agencies are spying and collecting this information, in particular the NSA. And people are wondering, and people are very concerned, especially Germans now. German citizens are very concerned. What is going on? The U.S. NSA working with the spy agencies with Germany, that's a concern there. And certainly you look at Airbus and what could possibly happening, and people are wondering.
So
big significant.
For our audience, I mean, there's a couple different types of spying, but I mean, the two main ones are you as a leader of a free country, me as leader of another country, spying on each other to get some sort of political advantage. Then there's this type of spying, which I think that's why this is frustrating so many people, because the US and Germany have sort of gone on the record a number of times about industrial espionage, meaning that governments don't spy on companies for the benefit of other companies, right? Isn't that what we're talking about here?
Exactly, and that's the part that's concerning everybody. They're saying this is industrial espionage. It's not a government agency against another government agency. This is industrial espionage against corporations, and that's certainly concerning. When you break it down and look at Airbus, they certainly build civilian aircraft. They also build military aircraft. So then you start to think and naturally wonder who's their biggest competitor, that being Boeing, a U.S. corporation. And if information about, especially on the military side, who they're selling planes to, some of the technology in there, there's great concern for people to be worried when there's this crisscross between industrial espionage and then certainly on the government side.
Why normally when we think of stealing, let's say I wanted to steal the specs on building a new aircraft at Airbus, and I want to sell it to a country that may not have that technology, okay? That's what I would naturally think. But in this case, the US and Germany spying on Airbus, well, both countries are extremely sophisticated. Airbus is extremely sophisticated. What's the point of stealing from each other when you already all have that sort of technology? I mean, who would ultimately benefit from this?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. And I started thinking about it, and I'm wondering, is it perhaps who the customers of Airbus are? If they're selling to other countries, and maybe the NSA wants to find out, hey, who is this going to? If it's a threat to the United States security or perhaps the German security or combined, and that may come into play here as well. We really don't know since this is all unfolding so much, but it's a unique twist for sure.
Let's just say it does come out. I know we're speculating here because it's not been proven yet, but it is something to do with military plans or something military-like rather than sort of the commercial airline group. Does that change anything? I mean, what would the reaction naturally be from Germany and the US?
Well, I think certainly the German citizens, with all the things that have been built up, they're getting upset, they're getting concerned, and there's going to be problems as a result of this, especially if it's on the military side, because they're already concerned with privacy. They're already concerned their phones are being tapped. People are listening and they're spying, not just government people, but even civilians. So there's great concern there, and they're going to speak up and they're going to revolt, and it could cause a big problem there, certainly within Germany. For sure. Yeah,
Scott, well, I'm sure all these topics are keeping you very busy. All the spying stuff is not going away. Not going away anytime soon. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good seeing you. Thank you.